Hey guys, how you guys doing? Hope everyone's well. Today we're gonna talk about a lot of things. So here's my homemade iced coffee. You guys should go grab a drink or something because it's gonna be a long video. So this is part 2 of me and you understanding how exactly does manifestation work. In my last video, in the part 1, I talked about a bunch of things, right, that probably sounded crazy to anybody listening to those for the first time. But today I'm gonna go more in depth on things like Neville Goddard. He is one of the most prominent people in the law of assumption scenario, and his master, Abdullah. Fun fact, Abdullah is also Joseph Murphy's master, Joseph Murphy, who wrote Power of Subconscious Mind. Now, the first thing here, I see that both these students, Neville Goddard and Joseph Murphy, they had the same teachers, Abdullah, but they both made sense of manifestation and the power of your subconscious in different ways. Neville Goddard, he used biblical references, whereas Joseph Murphy, he used the power of subconscious mind in a more technical way, in a more physical way, where he just talked about how our subconscious creates reality. Now, if you don't know anything about these people, that's all right. All you need to know is that Abdullah, their teacher, he believed in the idea that anything and everything is possible to get as long as you believe that you are already experiencing it. And what he means is that to have anything in this world, you just have to assume the feeling of having it. That's it. And there is a very famous story where Neville Goddard, he wants to go home to Barbados and he has no money, he has nothing. He goes to Abdullah and he's like, I need to go to Barbados, how do I do that? And Abdullah shuts the door on him and he says, you are already in Barbados. That's it. That's all Abdullah says to him. He says that you don't need to do anything to be in Barbados. You just have to believe that you're already in Barbados right now. Okay, so Neville, what he did after that, he said, okay, since I'm in Barbados, I am in Barbados. He acted every night when he was falling asleep. He would subconsciously believe and stay in the feeling and enjoy the feeling of being in Barbados. And in a month, his brother sent him a ticket to go to Barbados for free, and then he ended up going and blah blah. There's multiple cases, multiple stories, thousands of stories like this, right? But we look at them and we're like, oh, cute, nice quote. Next. Nobody really takes it seriously. Like, you must have heard famous people say this all the time. Just like I've heard Lady Gaga and Jim Carrey talk about prayer, or how one day he just learned that if he could dream something and he just prayed and believed that would happen, and it would happen. He knew he was gonna have this fame and success. Lady Gaga, she would pretend that she's a pop star, she's a global icon, and that ended up happening. And yet it's always out there. People are always talking about how anything that they do, they essentially just imagine themselves being it. They always say they knew that this was gonna happen. And we think that, oh, that's good, that's determination, that's luck, that's a coincidence, that's oh, the universe is helping you. We always have an excuse for when things like this happen. I've seen people go from riches to rags and from rags to riches in no time, and with no sort of resource. And when you talk to them, they have this weird confidence of how they knew it was going to happen. I first got introduced to a lot of these ideas a decade ago, as I talked about in my other video. And when I first hear things like this, it's obviously sounds not real. Like, if you could think your way to fame and wealth or mental peace, wouldn't everybody be talking about it? Wouldn't everybody be doing that? I know. I've had those same questions, and I think I've come to an answer, and that's our journey, right? Exploring these answers. So it is confusing. It is confusing because it's not really the universe giving you anything. I think most people stay away and they're like conflicted about manifestation, or our subconscious creating, because they don't understand that this is not just some spiritual awakening that only happens to some people. You don't have to follow a certain religion. You don't have to know certain texts. You don't have to know anything. If this is a law, if this is something that we are already experiencing, is what everybody says, we're already creating all the time. And they say creating, but I don't think it is creating, because I think creation is already finished. But I feel like our subconscious is shaping our reality. It's choosing our realities, right? And I do think there's more to it than just it being something spiritual or something you choose to do. Every single human is doing it. Every single person. Every single point of time. You cannot be like, oh, I don't want to do this, because you are. Everything you assume about the world is the truth for you. Let me give you an example of, let's say, social media. Now, you will know how deluded you are if you think everybody has the same For You page as you. They don't. Everybody has a different type of content that's being pushed to them. Everybody believes in different things, and everybody's beliefs are actually backed up by other posts on social media, because they get what they already believe or want to believe. And our lives are exactly the same. We believe what we want to believe, right? And what Abdullah basically meant here is that once you believe you are somewhere, or once you believe something, it's like the world catches up to that reality of yours. Now, this is where my questioning begins, right? I do believe that he's right. I do believe that what we believe ends up happening, right? But how? How? Because we know it's not the universe. Because I would think, right, the universe, what is the universe? When we say the universe, yeah, it could be energy. But if the universe is like a conscious, a conscious being or something that's granting these wishes, wouldn't the universe be smarter? Or, I see bad people getting, quote unquote, bad people. I don't know. Bad is a perception, I guess. But I see a lot of people who could be considered bad get all their dreams, and, all these billionaires seem to have everything. So it's obviously not the universe granting you just because, you were really righteous about something and you wanted something with pure heart. I mean, I think most people wanting money, they don't want it from most people wanting huge exorbitant amount of money and wealth are not doing it from reasons of good, right? They're doing it from ego to show it off to people. Then why would the universe be granting something that's not out of good intention? Because it's not the universe granting anything. It's these people and us and everyone believing in something that could happen and us shifting into that reality. In the next video, I'm gonna talk more about quantum theories. Now, the problem here is I'm a philosophy student. I don't know much about quantum mechanics, quantum physics, but what I'm planning to do is try my best to understand certain topics like quantum entanglement, non-locality, the observer effect, and even though I do have some problems with the observer effect, the double slit experiment, Schrodinger's cat, multiverse theory. There's so many theories that we need to talk about to really understand what's probably happening here. So I'm going to talk to professors in my university and see what I can learn from them about this quantum theories, because they have put all their life's work into it, so they would know a lot better than me, right? So I'm going to ask them to explain it to me like a 5-year-old, and I'm going to share it with you guys. So now, as we see that maybe quantum physics has something to do with it. The other day, I bumped into this thing on TikTok, and it said glamour magic. I think something called glamour magic, and girls were doing some sort of putting intentions into their everyday use things, and basically that helped them glow up and be more confident. And when I see things like this, and it's everything, it's like, people that do black magic or something, everything I see, I'm not gonna just make fun of them and brush it off, because ultimately it's the same concept, that they believe that putting this intention into that thing is going to make them appear or be confident, and it does, because they subconsciously believe that this is going to happen. Think about how many times you thought about something happening and it just ended up happening, and you're like, yeah, that's my gut feeling. Maybe it's not your gut feeling. Maybe you believed it so hard, you shifted into a reality where that had been true, and everything in the reality just catches up to it. If you don't know about Neville Goddard or Abdullah, I highly suggest you go look into theories that they and the books that they have written. Neville's books, I've read all like 5. He has so many books. You can just choose any and see how he's talking about these things, but the basic concept is just your subconscious believing. If you find that common denominator in all of these concepts, then you should come back here, because you would understand what I'm talking about. So look into that, and look into law of attraction. I don't want you to get confused, but just look into law of attraction, just so you understand how it's the same concept, but with just bullshit words and just people trying to make money out of it. So they try to make it seem like it's some weird concept that not everybody talks about, but it's really not. It's just like prayer. People have talked about prayer for the longest time, and I think that's what it is. Believing. When you believe in your prayer and it ends up happening, you thank God or whatever you believe in. But maybe it's just because you believed it and you shifted your reality, right? So yeah, that's all for this video. I hope you got something out of it, although my ideas were all over the place. In the next video, I'm gonna talk about all the other ideas that I said I'm gonna talk about. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Hope you guys have a good time, and just I hope you all shift into a world where it's all good for everybody and no one's suffering, like we don't deserve to suffer. Life is not to be suffered. I think a lot of people, especially authorities of control, right? They have put it in our head that we have to suffer to enjoy life, but that's not true. Why do we have to suffer? Why do we have to suffer to get some things that isn't going to mean anything to us anyway? We have to remember that we're humans, and powerful humans, if we really believe everything, I said in this video. We're so powerful. Why do we think we're so weak that we have to work like donkeys and be slaves to people just to earn what? Some money to buy a handbag? Do you think you're so much more than what you own? We are so much more. We can be kind, good human beings with good qualities. Not, who cares what you own? Who cares? Literally. It's all about what you are and not about what you can, hoard in your cupboard. Because what are we doing? Who are we doing this to show? Who? The people who don't care about us. They don't, because it's all your perception. It's all our perception. And if we're trying to prove ourselves to people all the time, we will always live proving. We need to stop proving and just start living. Okay, that's all. Take care, guys.